Today we are looking at office practice and office management. All right. So in every organization, uh, there is no businesses that can run without an office. And that means it's very important in every field that we go in. Everywhere we must be able to understand how an office operates, what is required of an office, and what actually it means by an office, by the way. So those are things that we're going to be looking at, the requirements that are necessary for the offices and the best way of managing the offices. Because in the offices, we always are dealing with clients, receiving clients, and also delivering services. So we start by asking a very simple question. What is an office? How do you define an office? So I define an office as a place or a room or building where many clerical activities of the business are carried out so as to provide control, direction, and management of the enterprise. So this could be a building, this could be a room, where different types of the activities can be handled within that particular room. And of course, to provide control of the business, to provide directions of the business, and provide the management of the business within the organizations. So, in relation to your profession, to your career, the office that you may be looking at right here is the medical record office. So, what is the medical record office? It would be a room, it could be a place, could be a building where the clerical activities of the patient's records management and the service delivery can be handled from, and as well it can provide control over the records management, directions of the records management, and also the management guides. So everything can be discussed from the office. So office practice therefore is a part of office organization that comprises the allocations of activities to the office personnel and the procedures or methods of performing these clerical activities efficiently. So now we're diving straight to look at the functions of an office. The functions of an office. So there are two categories of office functions. We have basic or routine functions and administrative functions. So starting with the basics or routine functions, these are the activities or the functionalities of an office that is needed or demanded every day or should be carried out in a daily basis. Number one, receiving and collecting information from internal and external sources. Okay, so you will be receiving information from different units and as well also distributing information to different units if it is in the hospital and that is the medical record department. And every offices receive informations or collect information from internal, that means the people that are within the organizations, and also from the internal sources, I mean the people that are coming from outside, and this could be the clients that you're dealing with. Number two, researching information in written forms. So you can be able to provide every information from your office in a written form through emails and writing in whatever ways. Number three, it helps in processing informations. Processing informations is done in an office. It also helps in communicating information. For example, information can be communicated from the office to the same people within the organizations or to the other departments, either within the hospital premises or outside the hospital premises. So, when you talk about, let's talk about administrative functions. So, as an office, it provides uh, a means of keeping everything for the organizations. That's why I'm calling it a custodian keeping the organization machines, assets, and records and make them operational. So you can never take every things of the organizations and keep it at your home. You may need to keep them in the office unless otherwise. Number two, applying management functions to the office, designing and controlling the use of forms, application forms, admission forms, order forms, discharge forms, inquiry forms, and treatment forms. All those things are designed within the office. So that means you need the office for the purpose of administration, and that is for handling, designing, and controlling how the forms should be used within the organization or within the hospital, and also buying and storing office stationery and other services. So, like the books, like in the hospital, we have like the registers, like the sheets, like the admission form, like other books that may be necessary, the HMS forms that you need to use, all those things. It is from the office that they get bought and must be stored also within the office. Number five, recruiting, placing, and remunerations of office staff. So the planning of the recruitment, selections of the candidates, and placing them into the right places or wherever they should be working from. All that planning, the idea comes from the office. Okay. So number six, keeping the organization's public relations. It is the office that build a relationship between the organization and the people that are out there. You start a business without an office, the business that don't need an office, people will be asking for the locations, what do we do, how do we get there, ABC. So you need to have an office to build the relationship between the organizations and the public. Right. So moving forward, we are looking at the types of office. We get two types of office mainly. We have open office. For example, the example of open office is in the bank. When you enter the bank, you find that every person is seated, the staff is here. This one is there, they are not hidden. Okay, and then we have enclosed office or close office. So, looking at this one by one, an open office or plain office is a large room where several related departments or staff or sections were together or sit together. For example, banks, post offices. So these people they are not partitions. They sit just together in one big or large room. So what are the advantage of doing or operating in such kind of an office? Number one, it is easy to supervise. If you are the supervisor, it becomes easier for you to supervise. Why? Because from where you are seated, you can be able to see what every staff is doing. Therefore, you can be able to control unnecessary movement. You can be able to control inactivities, situation where somebody is lousy, because after all, I mean, boss is something me, whatever, and something like that. But in this case, the supervisor sees everyone. And of course, in the bank, you see the supervisor sits in the same floor with the staff. All right. Number two, provides economy in floor space. So if you have to partition your office into different offices, it may takes a lot of space. But if people sit together, that means you can be able to really save yourself the cost of the floor space that would have been used if you could partition your office. So many table, many staff can be using the same floor. Done. If you partitions, it may need to take a few staff. And remember, each and every table will need to be cared for. But of course, in an open office, probably even one table can be shared by more than one staff. And also it provides economy in lighting and heating facilities. So you just put like one barrel is enough, by the way. But let's say each and everyone, you have like 10 staff in your organizations and you're the planner, and these 10 staff need to be in their different offices. So that means you need like 10 bulbs for lighting. You get it? And if they are in an open office, two barrels is enough, or maybe four, you get. So it becomes easier or it saves in that cost. Next is flexibility in office layout. So the office layout is a systematic arrangement of the office tools and equipment. So when you are using an open office, you can be able to alternate them. You can change from this angle A and you go to angle B. You can move to the center. You can. It's very flexible. Okay, and also it minimizes movement of office staff because you're not alone. People are seeing what you're doing. Right. So now next, last but not least, it facilitates easy and quick communication between employees and other colleagues. You don't need to leave your wherever you're sitting to come to me to tell me what you want to tell me. You can actually sit from there and ask me anything if we are operating in an open office. So that is of advantage. All right, so let's talk about the disadvantages. Number one, it provides an impersonal atmosphere. Impersonal atmosphere. You know, many people are seated, many people uses different kind of things, and that means the smells of the office will not be the same. So definitely, if somebody is allergic to certain kind of things or react into the stimuli of anything, it would cause impersonal atmosphere. And then we have risk of disease infections. All right, for example, like COVID-19 was there, airborne disease. You know, seated together in one office and there's no whatever. Even if there is social distancing, but there's a possibility of disease infections. In most cases, if one staff is affected with flu, almost every person is going to get infections. Next, no security over valuable items. You leave your things on the table because every person uses that office. That means there's a possibility when somebody picks it, you know any persons that you should ask because after all, many staff, 20 of the staff could enter in that same office. So valuable items, valuable documents has no security. And also there's no privacy, of course. There's no privacy, that is self-explanatory, and no quality work is provided. People when they are working in the same office, many people are together, they're most likely to less concentrate because especially people will be talking, rumor-mongering and gossiping, whatever. You see, so that may lead to poor quality of work and poor productions of services. All right. So another type is what we are calling partition or enclosed or private office. So this is a type of office where each staff sits in his own room and carries out his or her duties. It may sometimes be occupied by two executives, for instance, the manager and his or her secretary in the organizations, a farm manager, head teacher, etc. So these people can actually use the same room. What are the advantages of this? Of course, maximum secretary, security over documents and other valuable items is guaranteed, such as certificates in cash. If you leave them, you can't get them because it is a private office and nobody goes there except you. And also, it minimizes gossiping. Of course, you may be there alone. If you allow you sit there alone. At least you could be able to concentrate. And also, there is uniform and standard work which is produced in private office compared to open office. And as well, it prevents the spread of infections, infectious diseases. Of course, if you are indoors, if you have any disease, airborne, whatever, that means you will remain with it in your office. You cannot be able to infect another person with it. And then provides maximum privacy, definitely maximum privacy. Whatever belongs to you will always belong to you. Nobody can access them without your permissions, and that is very, very good in terms of the privacy. The disadvantages is that there is boredom. You're alone, you're alone, and you're alone, and you will be bored. And also curtails the spirit of compilations. Probably you may feel, some people, when you're alone, become bored, and you may say, like, come on, I'm going to finish this work tomorrow. Then let me just, you know, all right. Next is that staff don't or can't share work. Staff cannot share work. Like, please, man, can you help me with some 2 pages? Finish this one. Let me be doing this. It can be possible, and also it limits chances of job rotations. Okay, do this. Let me do that. I'll be doing this one while I do the other one. It's not there, and also it needs large space to handle that. Okay. All right, so those are the types of office and also their advantages and their disadvantages. If you have any question, you'll be able to drop on the platform, on our platform, or maybe you can be able to drop it down under this lesson. Next, let's talk about importance of an office. Why do we need an office? I think we talk about some few things of such kind. So, an office serves as a center for all kinds of information. It provides a link that enables coordinations of the various activities of the organizations. It plans, prepare, stores, and disseminate the informations required for managerial control. All right. So, if your notes is printed, you can be able to put a comma here, put a comma here, put a comma here. Okay. Um, So you can be able to manage and control everything, the storing of information. When I talk about disseminate, I'm meaning spreading informations or distributing informations, and also prepares and pays workers salaries and other benefits, and is as well help in handling customers' inquiries, order and complaints. It can handle inquiries, orders, definitely, and complaints. So, how do we plan in establishing an office? How do we plan? Okay, planning or establishing an office, you would need to consider some of the activities or some of the factors. Number one, you need to consider office accommodation, the sites, or maybe the locations. You will also need to consider the layout, how you would want things to be arranged in your office, and also the office landscape. That is very important. And office furniture and equipment, office environment must be accessible, is very important. So this is office practice. This is office practice, and it has a very simple things to discover. I mean, to revise, that are very very simply written and summarized. So the functions of the general office. Okay, the functions of the general office. This is the office that does everything, literally everything that could be done in an organization. So receiving and distribute mails to other departments, collects forms and post offices, mails, and also be able to post them to other departments, controls the filings and indexing for all other departments, typing all correspondence. So now in your department, like correcting the reports that come from the laboratory and undertaking reprographic work. Reprographic work is like photocopying, scanning, you get it. And then we have handling telephones, receiving phone calls, and it acts as a resource center and also acts a reserve for other departments in times of pressure. All right. So, what are the functions and responsibility of executives in an organization? So, the office manager, what does the office manager does, and also who is an office manager? So an office manager is a person who holds the highest office among the employees and links the employees to the owners or maybe the employers and the management of the organizations. He looks at the interests of both employers and employees. And what qualities should you consider for office manager? One, a person must have wide knowledge and experience of the organization. Should be somebody who know more about organization very, very, very well. And two, capable of making wise decisions is very important. Should be able to be a leader, leadership. Okay, what is the quality of being a leader? You cannot just lead. Mm. So you must be somebody who is tolerant, must be somebody who is able to really understand people first of all. So that we need somebody that understand how to manage people very well. Next, should have the ability to organize the resources, should have the ability to delegate work. So if you are not going to be around or you have another responsibility and another one is going on, come on, you give that one to another person. Should have the required training and education, should have necessary authority to carry out the job, should be able to exercise self-control, enthusiasm and sincerity, honesty, etc. Don't need a liar to be a manager. Get because he's going to be in charge of the business, coordinating the employees and the employers. So that person need to be somebody who is very honest. All right. So, duties in relation to top management: support and implement policies, report back anything which needs reporting, operates with outside management consultants. So if they are within the organizations and they are stakeholders, these people need to be coordinating, right? So, everything can be moving smoothly and perfectly. And then duties in relation to management. That's one, directing staff, controlling staff, training clerks to do their jobs, maintaining good human relations in the office, and also their duties in relation to their work is plan the work of any section, see that work is done in time, distribute work fairly, develop new methods of doing the work, operating effective control methods. And then, what do we do in relations with the junior staff, the subordinates? Okay, they're supposed to be trained in different fields. Delegate responsibility to them so they can keep on learning on the responsibility that they can be able to do in the absence of the manager. Settle personal frictions and jealousies. You know, there's always that fight in an office, fight in organization, fight at work. People are hating one another. You don't just understand what is going on. But as a manager, you need to be able to help settling these frictions and jealousies, and also be able to give credit where due. If somebody has done a good job, it takes nothing to tell the person that you know what, you did really did a good job, and we are proud of you. Part of motivations. Next, maintaining discipline. And that is to say, rules and regulations to be followed in organizations. They need to be monitored by the top manager to ensure that every person is following the rules and regulations here. If we says place on Wednesday or Monday to Friday, make sure you're wearing uniform. That is the rule and regulation for us. Okay, and then we have very important staff that are necessary in the office, and that is office secretary or company secretary, organization secretary, hospital secretary. You can call it in whatever way you want. So, what are the responsibility of the office or the company, whatever secretary? Well, they're responsible for seeing the company complies with the legal provisions of Companies Act. What the role says about the company, every person must be doing that. Keeps the records of proceedings and all meetings up to dating the registers of our shareholders. It is a link between the company and the shareholders, cooperate with chief accountant and other head of departments responsible for the company insurance and legal matters. It's also an administrative link between the board and the staff. Okay, so come on, you guys things are like just revise, you know, just revise. Long distance learning. Very simple, right? Whatever you see in any word that you're not getting it, you can't research, you're not getting any clear word, you drop it there. Okay, then I come in and be able to explain for you. okay, be able to explain for you. So, like office practice, this is a very simple thing that somebody like you guys, very smart, very intelligent, probably, can be able to do the self revisions. Okay, so maybe I can be able to have time for the serious units like medical terminologies, and we discuss that one, because you can do that yourself. All right. So, what is here that I need to explain for sure? What is here that I need to explain? Things are very direct. I made it in a very simple way. Okay. So honestly, what I'm saying is, you need to just read this. You can't tell me that you cannot read this and understand. Okay. You can say that. Uh, of definitely, I made the thing. I summarize it in a very, very simple way to make everything easier for you. You get it? And of course, like some of the new words I've already put what can help you to understand them, you know. So, but of course, if there is something that you're not getting, and if it is something that if you think that it needs a serious part of it, you can be able to let me know, and we still revise and see what to do. Okay. So factors considered when buying machines. All right, to get to know, because who knows, maybe you want to start an office, you need to know all those things. Or maybe they will ask you, come on, we want to establish an office of the department. What do we need? So you take part of this. If you're revising them, it's not for the purpose of passing only, but also to know what is necessary for your department. Okay. So, like I was talking about reprographic services. I said reprographic is duplicating, photocopying, or maybe offset printing. And that's what we call lithography. So, reprographic service refers to the productions of copies of an original document, and there are different methods of making it. You can photocopy, you can duplicate, you can do the offset printing. So, photocopying is a process of obtaining a copy of a document directly from the original with the photographic details. And the advantage is that you get exactly what you want if you photocopy, and in most cases, it's very cheap. Okay. You can even do color copying, colored photocopying, and then also larger document can be reduced. You can reduce a larger document, and also it's very easy to handle. Okay, yeah, and duplication is a process whereby a master copy is prepared from which a large number of copies are obtained. So now that is when you do the same thing, and let's say you try to make another ID, of the same color, and you can produce different, I mean, a lot of copies from that. The same thing, this you do not photocopy, but you make another thing, and you duplicate from what you have as original. And then we have two types of duplication. We have the stencil duplications, which involves the fiber sheets, which is called stencil. And of course, it's very rare, but it's normally part of some few methods that are used. I've not seen it common in most of the places. So the only good thing is that when you duplicate it, you just actually you can even stencil your ID. You can duplicate it and then you seal it. Okay, there is a way it is that you can use it for a very long time if you keep it very well. And then offset printing is where the master copy is a metal plate which is prepared from a typed document. So when you go to town, you see most of in front of shops you find a lot of metals which are written metals actually, but has writings. Others have lights on them and something like that. Those are what we are referring as offside printing as well. Sorry. So the things to do with binding machines, uh, and other things, and then part of the computers and the other things also. I think this will not be now. Uh, this is what you're going to do. Okay, you're going to do your revisions and you stop here. All right, revise. You go up. Leave this one. Guys are not going to be cashiers and whatever. You can revise it for other purposes, but for the purpose of oh, there's a topic here that you cannot forget about. Okay, there's a topic here that make sure you revise. This one. Okay, that one, revise it as well, and the rest. Actually, I withdraw this statement. Okay, I withdraw this statement. All right. So you can revise. Maybe you can just ignore this topic basically because you don't need that. And uh, post office, you revise that, and this part as well. You check through as well, and most importantly, office practice. Office furnitures. Okay. All right. So for sure, this is a very simple work. So take your time, revise through, get the questions, drop it for me. I'll be able to get a revision question for that and I send as soon as possible. Thank you.